This video is brought to you by our friends over at RV Overnights. Hey baby, the hills are alive!
With the sound of music. Good
Wow.
Lord, I think it sounds better than that, though.
Your voice just broke. That was crazy.
It's so beautiful.
All right, so we're going to be taking you up into Vermont, where there's a sound
Vermont,
where there's a sound of music connection. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, we're going to take you to where the highest peak in Vermont is. Where are we taking everybody today?
We're going to Stowe, Vermont.
Put your seatbelts on.
Because here we go.
This is RV Destinations Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome out to the RV Destinations Podcast.
You know, every time you say that, I just want to go, hello, everybody. Like from Christmas Vacation. Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. I love that part from that movie.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to welcome out all our YouTube watchers and then also, of course, our traditional podcast on the audio platform that you're listening to us on. Welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about another hidden gem. We've been giving you these hidden gems all the time. And this is one you might not think of to, hey, let's point the RV north and go here. But we're going to tell you why you want to, and that is Stowe, Vermont.
Vermont.
Taking it up to Vermont.
No, there you go again. It's Vermont. Why is it Vermont?
Vermont?
It's Vermont.
Vermont. Vermonte?
Vermont.
Okay. Vermont.
Okay.
I'm not sure what she's saying.
Because you're like, Vermont.
Well, why don't you introduce our guest so she can join in on some of the fun here?
Yes. We have on the line with us today Whitney O'Halek. Hello, Whitney. How are you doing today?
Hi. I'm great. How are y'all?
We're doing good. It is so good to have you back. It has been a long time since we've had you on the podcast. And
it has been a long time.
Yes, because you are a new mama. So you have been busy with a new baby.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Busy does not quite, it's not quite the right word.
It's a lot. We can kind of, we can empathize from a distance because we have newish grandbabies, you know, and
we got to tell the story. So we're in Fort Worth, Texas right now, just north of it, and here to see my son and our new granddaughter, and he's got a daughter. So we've got a 2-year-old, a little over 2, and a little longer than 3 months. So we thought, being the great grandparents, because they're in Texas, we don't get to see them very often.
We're like, we're going to do a granddaughter sleepover. This is going to be amazing.
We're going to bring the kids to the RV and watch them overnight. You kids go out and have fun. This was on a Friday night, and all was going well until it became time to lay down time.
And then, ironically, the 3-month-old was doing great. She's like,
she was a doll baby all day.
Yeah, all day. She's like, oh, okay, it's sleepy time. Okay, I'm going to go to sleep. Well, the 2-year-old, they don't call them the terrible twos for nothing. She decided at 11:30 it was a great time to throw a horrific temper tantrum.
Well, no. You got to back up a little bit. So she's supposed to go to bed at 8. We did know that. She didn't go to bed at 8. We couldn't get her down at 8. Couldn't get her down at 9. Finally got her down at about 10:30. We took her to bed with us. We finally got frustrated. We'll make the story quick so we don't. But anyway, we put her in bed between Caly and I, thinking that was a great thing.
Oh, no, that's a bad idea.
I woke up and her head was against my head and her feet were kicking Caly.
Kicking me.
So it was terrible. But I love her so much.
Oh, we love her so much.
But then at 11:30, she woke up and decided just to start throwing a temper tantrum.
Huge temper tantrum.
For like 20 minutes. Yeah. And then
we discovered in the middle of the wailing and crying that she was saying baby. She wanted her baby.
So we got her baby, and then she woke up at 2:30, 3:30, and then 4 o'clock, and then wide awake at 6. Like, I'm up, I'm ready. And so
we had a great time. It was lots of fun.
We didn't get much sleep. And like, this is definitely a young man's game, a young man, young woman's game.
Right.
But anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, you know, the best way to get my daughter to sleep, she's 7 months old. The best way to get her to wake up is to put her in her crib.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So I certainly empathize with not being able to get the kids to bed.
Yes, it's like the moment you lay her down, she's like, "Oh, and I'm up. Thank you. That was good. I'm good."
Yep.
But I think with parents, they know that they have no way out. They've got to do it.
Right.
And all we kept thinking of, I can't wait till tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, we get to take them back.
Right. Yeah, because all night we were hearing.
Right. Yeah.
We heard very little.
Yeah, very little of that.
but anyway, they were so precious. They were good all day long, and then all the next day. And the infant, the 3-month-old, was really good.
Oh, she was amazing.
She slept all through the night, which surprised me. But
she did
anyway, we digress.
We totally
Let's get back on target.
Okay.
So why don't we jump into some fun facts
on Stowe?
On Stowe,
yeah, because this
Vermont.
is interesting because it's not a place that I'd heard of before, which is why I asked Whitney if we could do this today.
All right, so you said we're going to mention the Sound of Music connection in the top 10, so I'm going to jump over that.
Okay.
That was on here. So Stowe, Vermont is the birthplace of alpine skiing in Vermont. Stowe is considered the birthplace of alpine skiing in Vermont. In 1931, Roland Palmito, I think maybe, a skiing enthusiast, explored Mount Mansfield and recognized its potential for skiing. His efforts led to the development of a ski trail and established the Mount Mansfield Lift Company, which built one of the world's longest chairlifts in 1940. Vermont's highest peak is there in Stowe. It's Mount Mansfield. It goes up to the elevation of 4,393 feet, and it's a popular destination for hikers and skiers and offers panoramic views of the surrounding landscape. Caly said my fun facts have been boring lately, so I'm working on that.
You have to zhuzh it up.
I've got there's a ski and snowboard museum there. We're probably going to talk about that, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Anyway,
yes.
Okay, so I'll step over there. The town with an E. Originally chartered as Stowe, S-T-O-W, in 1763. An E was added to the town's name in 1838, changing it to Stowe, S-T-O-W-E. The reason for this change remains a topic of local curiosity.
Ooh, interesting. Is it Stowe or Stowe?
Yeah, that's right. Now, the next part.
Okay. Oh.
We've got a haunted Stowe, Vermont.
A haunted Stowe, Vermont.
We got to start talking about the hauntings in Stowe, Vermont. I love that music. You think
it's creepy, Randy.
It's so scary.
Creepy. Yeah, it's still creepy.
All right, so there are a couple ghost stories. We're going to start adding ghost stories. We just started this today. Whitney.
Yeah,
this is something
why
brand
is this
new.
a thing?
Because you told me I was boring, so we got to find something
fun facts, not creepy facts.
I can't make up things. All right, so there is a covered bridge called Goldbrook Covered Bridge, or locally referred to as Emily's Bridge, that's haunted. Built in 1844, the Goldbrook Covered Bridge, commonly known as Emily's Bridge, is perhaps Vermont's most famous haunted site. Legends has it that a young woman named Emily met a tragic inn here, and her spirit is said to haunt the bridge. Visitors have reported unexplained scratches on their vehicle, mysterious noises, and sightings of ghostly figures.
Oh my gosh, had nothing to do with the overgrown bushes on the side.
Will you stop ruining my ghost stories?
I am just bringing fact to this.
Gosh.
Whoa.
The next one is Green Mountain Inn.
Ooh,
that sounds like In Search Of, didn't it? Like the In Search Of.
In Search.
Established in 1833, the Green Mountain Inn is rumored to be haunted by this.
Okay, put that stupid button.
It's rumored to be haunted by the spirit of Boots Berry, a former horseman at the inn. Born in the room 302, Boots became a local hero after saving stagecoach passengers, but later faced personal struggles. It's said that he died in a snowstorm while rescuing a child from the inn's roof. Guests and staff have reported hearing phantom tap dancing sounds, believed to be Boots' spirit revisiting his birthplace.
Interesting.
So
he saved an infant from the roof. So what was an infant doing on the roof that needed saving?
Honey, just believe, like Sasquatch. Just believe in it.
Just believe in Sasquatch, although they've yet to find him.
All right, let's get into more factual stuff on Stowe, Vermont. You want to take it over?
Yes, I shall. Now the good stuff will happen, Whitney. All right, so number 10 is go leaf peeping, and which makes perfect sense for this part of the United States. And I bet it's absolutely stunningly gorgeous there. Is there a time of year that you recommend going to see the best leafage?
Yes, definitely about mid-October, actually mid-September to mid-October. You'll definitely find that the peak foliage changes from year to year. Like it's not like one specific day because it's nature. But sometime in between there, and even if you're not there at peak foliage, you will definitely get the color. If you're there in like early fall, you will definitely get the leaf peeping and the bright colors, and it's so beautiful. It's a really gorgeous place to take a road trip because of the leaves. We actually flew up there and then drove around once we got there, but flying in and seeing all of the color from above was gorgeous, and then to see it all up close in the car was like next level. So definitely try to go in the fall. It's just the best time of year to be up there, honestly.
Oh, nice. And that is a trip that I've always wanted to do, was go up to the Northeast in the fall, because I mean, you hear about it. They have some of the best fall leaves to see anywhere in the country. And it's definitely on my bucket list of places that I want to go to. Yes, Randy, it's on the list.
We need bigger than a bucket at this point.
Okay, it's like on one of those gigantic caterpillar buckets, like the big one of those.
No, I think you need like an ocean size bucket to fit all your
that
hopes
works.
and dreams.
All my hopes and dreams before you dump them over the side. Oh, one day, Randy, one day.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Right in the kisser. You know what, Randy? Number 9, go take a hike. Ooh, did you?
I like what you did there.
That was a good segue, huh? Yes, thank you. I am here all week. I like to give that props to the cough medicine that I'm on. Thank you very much for keeping me alive today. So number 9 is take a hike. And I understand, okay, so Stowe is set in the Green Mountains. So there's probably lots of hiking to do in and around that area. Are there any hikes in particular that you recommend?
Nothing in particular, just like any hike you take is going to be gorgeous. We're going to mention this a little bit later, but at the Von Trapp Family Lodge, they have several hiking trails associated with it. And I mean, like the viewpoints that you get up on top of the mountains, like down into the valley where the actual town of Stowe was just epically beautiful. And with the fall foliage and everything, just making it yellow and red and all the fall colors, orange and stuff, was just really, really beautiful. We took a couple of hikes when we were there. My husband and I love to hike, and so we got to see. There's this one, I can't remember the name of the hike, but like truly the view down into Stowe was really beautiful. Wow. From up on top of the hike. And then there was another one that there's a chapel in the woods on the property, and from the 40s or 50s. And it's this like adorable little stone chapel, like very small, but like when you stumble upon it, it's just so picturesque. And honestly, any time of year, like if it was snowy, it would be a gorgeous hike. In the summer with the greenery, it would be a gorgeous hike. In the spring, it's probably muddy, so it would be an eventful hike.
Right.
But really, like any time of year to go hiking in the Green Mountains is a good time of year to go hiking.
Yeah, so I pulled up some of the most popular hikes in the Stowe area. Mount Mansfield comes as number 1. That's a 5 to 6 mile round trip, moderate to difficult. But they also have Stowe Pinnacle, which sounds like that might. Does that sound familiar to you? Because that one looks like it.
That may be the one.
Yeah, Stowe Pinnacle is a 3.7 moderate round trip hike, and it gives you a lot of views. You reach the summit and you get all kinds of scenic views up there. But Smuggler's Notch, easy to moderate. And then you have Sterling Pond Trail, Bingham Falls Trail, Warren Falls Trail, Sunset Ridge Trail, Mount Elmore, C.C. Putnam State Forest Trail. And then there's a long trail called the Long Trail.
The Long Trail.
272 miles is the entire length,
wow.
Which I don't think you're going to be doing that unless you're camping overnight. But yeah, those are the top 10 hikes that they're recommending in the area. Seeing stunning views, alpine lakes, and a chance to immerse yourself in nature.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, and then they have the Stowe Recreation Path, which looks like a multi-use path as well that shows online of like folks biking on it and walking on it. So it's paved and looks very picturesque as well. Just the whole town, like all the pictures that I'm pulling up, it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Yep, and that's a good lead into number 8, try biking.
Number 8 is try mountain biking. And for anybody who has listened to this podcast long enough, you've heard my mountain biking story of, I don't mountain bike well. I usually end up in trees and bushes. So.
Same.
Yeah. So tell us some about the mountain biking there. Did you mountain bike when you were there, or you were just like me and like, that's okay, I'll stay off the side?
We did not mountain bike because, like you, I don't always end up on the trail.
Right.
But they do have some very popular mountain biking trails. People go there for the mountain biking, for the sport of mountain biking. So it's if you like mountain biking, or if you just want to try it out, I'm sure they have easier trails where I would not have ended up in a bush.
Right.
But we were only there for a few days, so I didn't want a chance.
Right, exactly. Very nice. Yeah, my idea of mountain biking would be like a nice flat paved pathway in the mountains, and I'm on a bike. Then I'm mountain biking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like the way we think.
We'll go together.
I like it.
So there's a whole Stowe Mountain Resort bike park there, which gives different levels of biking experience from beginners to expert. But you can go there. You also have the Katy Hill Forest Trail, which you reference in the top 10 here. So there's a ton of biking. There's also, there's just all kinds of the Rec Path. There's the Vermont Youth Conservative Core Trail. Mount Mansfield and Sterling Mountain Trails are all bikeable.
Oh, wow.
The Adams Camp Trail System is all bikeable. And so there's a lot of different biking opportunities in Stowe, Vermont, which is really cool.
That is very cool. Well, and it makes sense. You know, it's in the mountains, so it's a very kind of outdoorsy location and outdoorsy things to see and do there, which leads us into number 7, which is go skiing, which makes a lot of sense because I understand that a lot of these like paths and trails will double as a ski slope and areas to ski in the wintertime. Is that right?
Yes, that is true.
Nice. Now, are you a skier?
So I have skied. I learned how to ski in the dark in the Alaskan wilderness.
What?
I have not skied since. If that tells you anything about my skiing abilities. I like my ACLs just exactly where they are.
Right.
But I know a lot of other people love to ski. And the hiking trails, the biking trails, they all turn into ski trails in the wintertime with the snow. So I had to include it. Even though I am not a skier, I had to include this because it is a very popular thing to do up there. It is a whole reason why people go in the winter is for the skiing. And it, again, really, really beautiful up in those mountains. The Green Mountains are similar to the Alps.
Oh, wow.
And we'll get to that a little bit later as well for why we know that. But yeah, so if you love skiing, if you like seeing snow-covered mountains, I love to see snow-covered mountains. So I definitely recommend just going for the look of it, even if you're not a skier.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I'm not much. I'm kind of like you. I kind of like my ACLs where they are, you know. And I've skied a few times, but it was in Kentucky, and I don't think that really counts as skiing because it was really like ice pellet covered hills, you know, versus snow covered mountains that I was skiing on. And every now and then you'd hit a patch of grass and come to a screeching halt. So that was always lots of fun.
Yeah, it looks like Stowe Mountain Resort is the centerpiece when it comes to skiing. We've already mentioned them for biking and hiking, but they are the centerpiece for snow skiing. I'll say in a minute. They get 300 inches of snow on top of the mountains.
Jeez.
So quite a bit. 300 inches of snow annually, which is great for snow coverage throughout the season. That's not even them making snow. That's just
natural snow. That's
right?
Ooh.
That's the real deal.
Right. Well, and what I like about like these big ski resorts is even if you aren't a skier, you can still find other things to do. You know, you can go there and they usually have, you know, shopping and, you know, grab a hot cocoa and sit by a roaring fire. And they're showing here at the Stowe Mountain Lodge, like ice skating outside and, you know, kind of a Swiss chalet type feeling. And, you know, so there's plenty to do even for us folks that are like, yeah, I don't really feel like ripping down the mountain on 2 pieces of plastic.
Well, I'll go ripping down the mountain. But the ski season is generally run from November to April. Apparently the best is generally January to March, is what they're saying. The resort also offers early seasons and late season deals for those looking to ski during the quieter times of the year. So, so big ski town.
Big ski town, and for non-skiers, that's okay because number 6, you can rejoice. And that is take the Ben & Jerry's factory tour. I didn't know that Ben & Jerry's got their start in Stowe, Vermont. So tell us some about the Ben & Jerry's factory tour.
Yes. So it's in a neighboring town. I think Woodbury is the neighboring town. But I mean, when you're so close when you're in Stowe, like how could you not include it on the list? Because like, this is what I'm totally there for the free ice cream. And it was a super interesting tour. I love to take tours like this, like kind of off the beaten path sort of tours and stuff. And because you get a free ice cream at the end, like, why would you not do that?
Exactly.
Get yourself some free ice cream.
Yes, I'm with you on that one. And I love that whole flavor graveyard. That is incredible. Do you remember some of the ones that made it in there? Cool.
I don't. It's been several years since I've been, but I don't remember the exact flavors. But just going through and thinking like, who thought that was going to be a good combination? And then there were others where I was like, why would they get rid of that one?
Right.
So that was probably, other than the free ice cream, that was probably my favorite part, was the flavor graveyard.
That would be so fun. That would be fun to see. Because, Ben & Jerry's always has those crazy combinations like, chunky monk or chubby
Netflix
hubby.
And chill.
Yeah, Netflix and chill. And
right. They ended up opening their first ice cream shop in a converted gas station in Burlington, Vermont, using an old-fashioned ice cream machine. So they chose Burlington because of its progressive, environmentally conscious community, which aligns with their values. So very interesting. And I found it interesting. It was only started in 1978. I thought it was older than that.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. And I thought it was slightly newer than that because I don't remember for me, Ben & Jerry's really hitting the market until I guess maybe like when I was in high school, maybe when it was gaining popularity.
Well, that was like the 60s, right?
No, that was like last year, Randy. Okay.
You're still pretty to me, baby.
Oh, thanks, honey. Thanks. My red nose and all. All kinds of whistles. Wow.
Just
thanks,
looking
Tiger.
Beautiful over there.
Oh, with my snuffleupagus nose.
You got the podcast lights all shining and you're glittering.
So lovely. It's all the makeup that I had to put on for the podcast.
Looking for overnight RV stays that are way beyond ordinary and more exciting than the rest area parking lot? RV Overnights is your ticket to unforgettable RV travel, giving you exclusive access to a nationwide network of unique, off-the-beaten-path overnight stays. Say goodbye to crowded campgrounds and hello to authentic experiences hosted by welcoming locals, all with just one easy membership. With RV Overnights, you'll get access to a huge network of unique places to park your rig, like wineries, farms, breweries, museums, and even alpaca ranches. 14 host categories in all. And with filters to narrow your search, think pet-friendly, extra nights, big rig access, scenic views, even boondocking. You'll find the perfect spot every time, whether you're a full-timer, a weekend warrior, or just chasing the seasons. Ready to level up your RV travel and experience unlimited stays with RV Overnights? Head over to rvovernights.com and use the code RVDMAG, that's RVDMAG, at checkout to save $10 off a yearly membership. That's rvovernights.com, because every overnight should feel like a destination.
So number 5 is interesting. So they eat Austrian food, not Australian.
Eat Austrian.
Austrian food.
Yes, eat Austrian food. So and we're going to find out this connection a little bit later, but they have all kinds of Austrian fare in this town. What were some of your favorites that you grabbed while you were there?
I'm a huge fan of the soft pretzel.
Oh, yes.
I just love soft pretzels with cheese, like ooey gooey cheese. Oh, so delicious. I could make a meal off of that.
Oh, yes.
Like for every meal.
You and me both. That is awesome.
And then you got to save room for the apple strudel.
Oh, yes.
Because it's authentic. And it's, oh my gosh, like especially if you're there in the fall or the winter when it's chilly, like a warm apple strudel with ice cream on top. Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, you're making me hungry. That sounds delicious.
It is delicious.
Yes.
So are there all types of like Austrian restaurants there, or is it just different?
So one in particular, or at least one place in particular, we'll do away with the suspense. So the very next one is going to let the cat out of the bag anyway. But the Von Trapps, as in the Sound of Music, Von Trapps.
Oh, yeah.
Were from Austria originally, and they settled here after World War II, after they escaped from the Nazis.
Okay.
So they actually picked Stowe because Maria von Trapp was looking out, from these hills, and she thought that it looked so similar to her homeland in Austria. So that's the connection there with the Sound of Music and with Austria. And so that's why there's Austrian food, and you'll find it throughout the town, but in particular on the Von Trapp resort. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of Austrian restaurants that you just have to try.
That is so cool. Yeah, and it seems like there's quite a few places there. Like I just pulled up the Trapp Family Lodge dining room, and they're showing some of the fare here in the pictures, and it all just looks so delicious. You're famous, like you said, the apple strudel and the Wiener Schnitzel and the pretzels for sure. So yeah, I'm definitely I'm hungry now, honey. What's for lunch?
Whatever you make.
Oh, yay.
Schnitzel with noodle.
Yes. Very nice. So that takes us perfectly, like you said, to number 4, which is the Von Trapp family. But this is tour the Von Trapp Brewery as well. So we've got the food, and now we've got some authentic brews. So how did you like the beer there?
So I don't drink.
That's right. I forgot.
But I really love to take brewery tours and like winery tours, because I think who thought, let's leave this on the shelf for a few years and see how it turns out,
Right.
How did anybody come up with this? So I think it's really interesting. And they do have their own brewery where they make their own beer, and super cool. You can take a tour. There's also a restaurant at the brewery, and that's where they have the best pretzels with cheese dip.
Ooh, nice.
That's where you got to go for that. So even if you're not into the alcohol, you definitely got to have the pretzels and beer cheese.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I'm on the Von Trapp Brewing website, and they've got quite a few different varieties and styles of beers. So they've got a Pilsner all the way up to a dark lager and kind of everything in between. And they're Vermont-made Austrian-style lagers. So that's really cool. That's very interesting. I'm not like a beer drinker per se, saying like if I had beer or wine in front of me, I'm going to choose wine. But I will enjoy a good beer. Like we were up in Holland, Michigan, and they have a lot of local breweries there, and I drank a lot of local beer, and it was good. So, if we ever make it up to Stowe, Vermont, I would absolutely try some of the beer there. I bet it would be very delicious. All righty. So moving right along.
Oh, did I let 3 out of the bag early?
You kind of did. I just let you roll with it. And I'm just going to let you now talk about number 3 along with Whitney.
So find the covered bridge, one of the most iconic bridges. So there's multiple ones. So we already talked about the Emily Bridge. Tell us about some of the other ones. Or the other one. So
they're kind of famous for their covered bridges up in New England, and Stowe has several really picturesque ones. I think there's a road trip. I can't remember the name of it might just be the Covered Bridge road trip that you can stop by several of them. And like there's, a big bright red one, and there's Emily's Bridge. Honestly, it kind of looks sort of haunted. So, and even if you're not like specifically looking for the bridges, you're going to come across them anyway on a road trip. So, but they're very picturesque. I mean, it just looks like something out of a novel or out of a movie. So you'll definitely see them, even if you're not necessarily looking for them.
Very cool. I love covered bridges. I think there's just something so sweet and nice, and I don't know, just sweet.
Kind of romantic.
It is. And it's like, and I wonder, it's a dumb question, like why they were covered. I know that's probably like all part of the structure and the engineering of it, and it just covered and it was for better stability. But like, why did we stop having covered bridges? I don't know. Randy's looking at me once again with those.
Oh, I have no idea.
You know,
I don't have an answer for that.
I know, but it's just fascinating. Like we had covered bridges, and then boom, we don't have covered bridges.
Well,
Like,
I
why?
think it probably has something to do with expense and shifting to iron and steel.
And I don't feel like a tractor trailer is going to fit through one of these covered bridges.
No. No.
Certainly not.
Certainly not. And so, babe, you were saying in the beginning, the Emily Bridge is one of the haunted bridges there.
Yes.
Oh,
It was.
You were.
Yes.
Yes, you were. Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading here. So there's these are all in this Stowe area, let's say, because some of these are outside of town. Smuggler's Notch covered bridge. There's the Hugh S. Carey covered bridge. There is the Brookfield covered bridge, and that's actually in Brookfield, Vermont. Morristown covered bridge. The Jeffersonville covered bridge. So there's quite a bit of them in that general area. So I guess you could make a tour out of all of them and go see them all and photograph them all.
That'd be fun.
Yep.
That'd be a lot of fun. All right. So when you're done looking at all your covered bridges, go for some unique museum tours and trips. And there's quite a few different kind of unique museums there in Stowe. Were there any that you visited in particular that really stood out to you?
So the Vermont Ski and Snowboard Museum, I thought was going to be really cool. And like the history of skiing and snowboarding, like, because you think of, people used to ski on like wooden skis.
Right.
It just seems like, how would that not break?
Right.
But unfortunately for us, we were there too late.
Oh.
They had already closed for the day on the day we were going to do that museum. But we did peek in the window, and they did have some like wooden skis. And so like snowboarding is a newer sport, but they've got sort of like the history of that in there. And, you see all the like wool, nowadays they have these like very sleek, skin tight ski suits,
Right.
that people wear when they're skiing, like on the slalom or whatever. But back in the day, they really needed to keep warm, and they didn't have like super thin technology. So you've got like the big ski sweaters and the hats, and so all of that is in there, and all of that is just really fun to see. I love history, and I'm not really into fashion, but seeing old clothes, like the way people used to dress, because there was always a purpose.
Right.
Just like today, we like the puffer jackets because they're easy to pack and they're really warm. But before they had puffer jackets, they had wool sweaters and wool coats. And like nowadays, we think of them as super itchy, but that was just how you kept warm,
Right.
Back then.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun to see stuff like that.
I totally agree. I think that would be fun. I'm on their website right now, and it just looks like they have a lot of really fun kind of artifacts and information in there, and kind of the progression of what skiing has looked like over the years and what it's progressed into today, which is fascinating. It went from 2 skis, and now you've got people that snowboard on essentially one kind of large flat ski, and yeah, it's just kind of what
You described that really well.
I did. That's why I describe things, because or a whistle. Yes.
I'm just thinking you're so beautiful sitting over there.
Oh, thanks, honey.
All right, we're already down to number 1.
We are. All right.
250 strands of light. Drum roll, please.
And the number 1 thing to do in Stowe, Vermont while you're visiting is?
Take a Sound of Music tour.
That's right.
Yes. Okay. So this had to be absolutely incredible to see, because who hasn't, 1, heard about the Sound of Music, and 2, you have the ability to go see where they used to live.
I was totally fangirling.
Yes.
Like, this was the reason we booked our trip to Stowe.
Right.
Was to do the Sound of Music stuff. So my husband and I actually stayed at the Von Trapp Family Lodge.
Oh, cool.
And even if you're not staying there, you can get a day pass and you can enjoy all that the resort has to offer, including the Sound of Music tour.
Nice.
And so the story of why there's a Von Trapp Family Lodge in Stowe is that Maria and Georg Von Trapp settled there with all of their children, including children that they had together. That's not in the movie, but they actually had kids together.
Okay.
And their descendants still own the lodge.
Are you serious? That is so cool. That gave
I'm
me
serious.
chills.
And so their grandson, who is an adult, gave the tour that we took.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That would be epic.
So yeah, it was epic. It was epic.
Yes.
But we went around to like all of the, you know, I don't want to say famous sites because it's not like necessarily like iconic sites like from the movie, but you know, we went and saw the cows.
Yeah.
we went and like saw the mountains, and like they took us to the spot where they looked out when they decided to own this piece of property, to buy this piece of property. And like we looked out, and yeah, it's like the Alps.
Wow.
It's, you know, the mountains and the hills are alive.
Right.
And, we did happen to be there on peak foliage weekend. That was not planned because you can't really plan around nature, but it was epic. Like just the view, all of the scenery. Somebody was having a wedding, so they were like setting up for the wedding while we were there. It was really, really beautiful. And they talked about why the lodge is there, because before it was like a hotel, it was a singing camp.
Really?
So like yes. And so they taught singing at this singing camp. So it was a super cool thing. It was kind of like the story beyond the story of The Sound of Music. Because, you know, you get to the part where they make it to Switzerland and they have escaped the Nazis. Yeah. But then after that, what's not in the movie is that they went to New York. They toured all around Europe and the United States singing, this whole family.
Wow.
And then when they finally settled, they settled here in Stowe, Vermont, because it reminded them of Austria. And they wanted to create a music camp. Yeah. And so that's exactly what they did. And the little chapel that I mentioned earlier that was on one of the hikes that we took, it's a super sweet story. So one of the boys, I can't remember which one, if it was Franz or the other one, but they had to go back over to Europe because they were in the military, in the American military.
Okay.
During World War II. And so they were in Italy. And I think both of the boys were over there in Italy. And one of them said, you know, made a deal with God, basically, if I can make it home, I will build a chapel on our property. Aww. And that's exactly what he did. So he came home and built this beautiful stone chapel that is on the property. Aww. So many cool things. Yeah. If you like The Sound of Music, you are going to love learning the backstory and like what's true and what's not from the movie. And then the story that goes beyond. Mm-hmm. And so this was, again, I'm totally fangirling.
Yeah, I love it though. I love it.
And so anybody else who loves The Sound of Music just definitely needs to make this trip. It can be basically a trip of a lifetime.
So for sure.
I've got a stupid man question that hasn't been to a musical ever, that, as far as I know. But did the Von Trapps write the musical, or did they just inspired the musical?
They inspired the musical.
Okay, so there was another writer that came in and tell me your story kind of thing.
So Maria actually sold the rights. Like, she didn't quite understand what it meant. Like, they didn't explain it to her. She was just like, okay, yeah, you know, you can use my story for whatever. So she got cheated a little bit. Like, the family got cheated a little bit. So that's not a great part of the story. But yeah, it was definitely inspired by their true story. And a lot of the things that happened in the movie and there's also a book, really happened. But somebody else did write it.
Oh, gotcha. I wasn't sure because that wasn't clear to me, but that's good to know.
And it looks incredible. So I'm on the Von Trapp Family Lodge and Resort website, and the Trapp Family Farm. So you've got not only the Von Trapp family, but on their farm, they have a Scottish Highland cattle. And for anybody who doesn't know what that is, those are the super cute, fluffy cows with bangs. So,
and the huge horns.
Yeah, the huge horns and the bangs, and they have 75 of them roaming around. So how many other reasons do you need? Just go to Stowe, Vermont. You've got to see the fluffy cows with the bangs and the Von Trapp farm. It's so cool. But it really is like their farm. They have just a lot of really cool things on their farm as well. They go over maple sugaring, which I thought was fascinating. They have some alpine goats and there are bees that are on site. They have horse and carriage and sleigh rides depending on the time of year. They have fruits and vegetables that they grow there on the farm and sell. And so just a lot of cool and fun and different things to do there. Very, very cool.
Yep. So let's talk about camping. So in the greater area of Stowe, Vermont, there's 59, and I should say that this part is brought to you by RV Life Campgrounds. That's a free resource you can look up and look at reviews and everything on different campgrounds across the U.S. And so there's 59. So there's quite a bit in the area. That actually shocks me. There's that many in such a small town. But some of the notable ones is the Gold Brook Campground and in Elmore State Parks right there. You got Mountain View Campground. Those are all within a handful of miles. Smuggler's Notch Park. You also have Little River State Park, Maplewoods Campground. All these are getting, Maplewoods is 9 miles away. It got really good reviews. Lots of people reviewing it. So, yeah, just quite a bit of different campground options. There, Onion River Campground. Actually, that got kind of bad reviews. Maybe not stay that way.
Maybe they should change their name.
Yep. Well, that's true. Well, Onion
River.
Anyway, okay, well, that's, if we missed anything on Stowe, Vermont, I mean, it sounds like a charming little kind of ski town, mountain town, whatever you want to say, and certainly the sound of music.
Charming really says it all. It's truly, truly charming.
Now is the Austrian, is that the Austrian culture and all that, do you see that outside of the Von Trapp's place? Do you see that in town at all?
You do a little bit, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if that carried over in some of the restaurants and different architect and stuff like that. Okay, well, cool. Well, that wraps everything up on Stowe, Vermont. Why don't you tell? So you've got a Quick Wit Travel. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that and kind of what you're doing with that? You've got a very extensive website. I haven't been on it in several months, but you've got different tips and pro tips of different
for being an extensive traveler yourself.
Yep. So I have a blog, quickwittravel.com, and wit is WHIT, like Whitney, quickwittravel.com. And on there, I have more stuff about Stowe. I have a blog post dedicated to food.
Yes.
So everything that we ate, Austrian and otherwise. So what I ate in Stowe is on there, what to know before you go, the best things to do. We loved Stowe. It was probably one of the best trips that we have ever taken. And lots of great memories in Stowe. And so check out quickwittravel.com. You can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook at quickwittravel. And there's lots of other stuff on the blog too. There's stuff about New England. Actually, one of my most popular blog posts is what to pack for a weekend in New England.
Really? Interesting.
In the fall, yeah. So every year that gets a ton of hits. So go and check it out. Pack well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's honestly, fall to me is one of the worst seasons to pack for
really
because it's
is.
like you have to have the layers, but that is inherently not packing light when you're packing so many layers. But I figured out some ways to do it. So go check it out. And there's a ton of other stuff about the United States and around the world. So, go check out the blog. I would really appreciate it. And let me know that you found me here on the RV Destinations podcast.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, so Whitney's the only person that we know that we get jealous because she travels more than we travel. So we've said that to her very frequently.
Many times, yes.
But thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you. And you're honestly, you've been with us longer than pretty much any of the writers that we have.
You've been with us since you're one of the OGs. You've been with us.
I'm an OG.
You are an OG. You've been with us since the beginning.
Well, I would say, well, not the very beginning, but like issue 3 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's pretty darn close to the beginning.
Like all the writers prior to issue 3, I'm going off my memory right now. I can't think of it.
Gone.
Yeah, I think they all. I don't think any of them are writing for us anymore. So Whitney's the one that's sticking around.
Yep.
So we appreciate that. I don't know if that's us or we're just so picky we only allow certain people. I don't know what it is, but thank you for sticking around and continuing to be on the podcast and writing for the magazine.
Yeah, I like to think you're picky, and you picked me.
Absolutely.
Well,
yes.
I did. If you remember, that's how you came about. We were needing some content on Boston. If you remember,
that's right. Yeah,
because we were.
Yeah, and y'all found my blog.
Yep. We were scheduled to go there. COVID happened, shut down Boston, and so we're like, well, we got to find content. We're supposed to run with Boston.
And I loved your blog because your blog, I feel like, is different than a lot of other blogs. A lot of other blogs, I feel like, are go to this building, next stop, go to this building, next stop. You gave like enough detail and information on each stop that I was like, oh, this is more than just like a step-by-step instruction manual. Like you gave me reasons as to why I would want to go there. And it was just like, yeah, so I just really enjoyed it because I honestly, a lot of blogs I don't read because I'm just like, yeah, I know I should probably go see that building, but you're not telling me why I should go see it.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
but why?
Right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so always enjoyed your blog. So thank you.
All right, you want to take us out?
Well, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, y'all.
Yes, well, we love having you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we want to thank everybody out there for joining in today and listening to our audio podcast, wherever you find your podcast, or for joining us on the YouTube channel and looking at our happy, shiny, smiley faces, mine with a little red nose because I'm a little snuffleupagussy today. But don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the RV Destinations podcast. And out on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button below so that you're always getting notified on up-to-date content when we release it. And hey, if you haven't been out there yet, check out our website, rvdestinationsmagazine.com. We have so much free, FREE, free travel content out there. You've got to check it out. We're constantly adding new stuff, including this really cool interactive map. So get out there and check it out. And if you use the code podcast20, podcast20 at checkout when you go and subscribe to our magazine, you're going to save 20% off any of our subscriptions. So be sure to get out there and do that. So thank you again for joining us in here today. We really appreciate having you.
Be safe.
Safe travels, y'all.